Hello, this is Michael Veitch. Welcome to the vodcast for Sunday Arts on ABC TV. Well, last year at age 48, that rowdy child of the biennial Adelaide Festival, the Fringe, officially outgrew its parent and became an annual event unto itself. It's not really surprising, as it's now the second biggest Fringe festival in the world, with some 3,000 artists performing. Fenella Kernebone takes us on a lightning tour of the festival that has transformed the city of churches.
City in Australia can host something like this every single year. This huge influx of festivals, audiences and performers. It's a bit crazy. And tonight it's the big kahuna. It's the opening of the Adelaide Fringe Festival, where Adelaide truly becomes Radelaide.
Hello and welcome to the Adelaide Fringe Festival 2008.
I think it's the diversity of the programs that are always on offer, and there's always something for everybody.
I mean, there's so much zany, exciting new stuff that happens in Adelaide.
It's Adelaide coming to life for a change, isn't it?
So bring it on, Festival State.
I personally think Adelaide really is the perfect size city for a festival. A bit like Edinburgh, it's small enough to really totally transform.
Not that small though. It's the second largest fringe in the world after Edinburgh, with just under 550 events. It's hectic, vibrant and sometimes a little crazy.
There's some budgie smuggling biscuits here, auntie.
There are like jugglers, there are like carny folk, there are people like putting hooks through their skin, there are mutants, there are other shows, there are bands.
The only thing that will benefit you tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is the fantastic Tom Tom Club at the Umbrella Revolution.
This is the second time the Tom Tom Club have appeared at the Adelaide Fringe. What is important about actually being in the Adelaide Fringe for you as a group?
It's definitely the biggest fringe festival in this country, which is important for me because fringe festivals support the underground, and that's where we all come from.
It does feel like being a carny, like you do feel like kind of a circus performer. It's a nomadic lifestyle and you're there with your suitcase, and like sometimes it's like you are being treated like a princess, and other times you're there putting your posters up.
The show's called Tombola!
When the Fringe is on, people who wouldn't necessarily go out all through the year will definitely use that time to come and see work. So it's in the interest of artists to join this kind of festival frenzy.
The Fringe Festival started organically when the Adelaide Arts Festival kicked off in 1960.
I declare this festival open, and thereby light a beacon which will shine not only all over Australia, but will cast its beam across the world.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit too much concentration on the highbrow side of it. I think it's too much art with a capital A.
Frank Ford was the founding chair of the Fringe when it was formally created in 1975.
Adelaide took a long time to get used to it, and the festival establishment didn't quite like it because they thought it was like a bad smell they hoped would go away, the Fringe. So there was a bit of this, ill will, and I think the thing that came out of that too was a bit of cultural cringe there. Nothing Australian was, really top class.
And these days, the Fringe is definitely making its mark on Adelaide's economy.
Our economic impact study that was done in 2007, which was the first annual Fringe, suggested we had an economic impact of 21 million to the state, which is, a massive return on the $1.1 million we get from the government. I believe that there is yet another whole way of measuring the success and importance of fringes.
And that means the unquantifiable benefits of culture.
I was tired of being Irish, tired of being stuck in pubs drunk all the time. I wanted to be Greek. Yes, to be Greek. The olives, the Mediterranean, the women, and most of all, that beautiful Greek bouzouki music.
What's unique about Fringe festivals, Edinburgh, Adelaide? Why do you go to them?
I think the first thing is that it's not over-curated. It's not somebody who says, this isn't high art, this isn't... you can go and just book yourself in and take a risk. I mean, you won't make a lot of money at Fringe festivals, but you make enough to survive and get your name out there. And Lawrence Leung has been coming to the Adelaide Fringe for 4 times now. I'd say a bit of a seasoned junkie. What keeps you coming back?
What I love is the audiences here, because they're willing to go for anything. I mean, it used to be once every 2 years, and the crowds really loved it because all this culture came to their town, all these arts, comedians, dancers, whatever, came along, and the crowds are wonderful.
Roll up, ladies and gentlemen!
There's 543 shows. How do you stand out in this kind of environment?
It's really difficult. It's very difficult to stand out. I guess you have to believe in yourself and what you're doing, and I guess try not to be too desperate.
And the beauty of the Fringe is that it's potluck. It's uncurated, uncensored, it can be dangerous, some shows are great, while many can be terrible. And the fact that it's undefinable is just part of its charm.
Actually, I'm going to shoot an arrow at my colleague there, and he's going to catch the arrow.
Any major accidents for you?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
You can see it here. But I show you a nice picture.
From that moment on, I decided to do a shooting course.
And we won't show you that image. Trust me, it's not pretty.
It's pretty good.
And what about for the punter? Has the Fringe changed Adelaide?
No, I think it changes for the Fringe. Yeah. We go back into our shells for the rest of the year.
So what happens for the rest of the year in your shells?
And the Adelaide Fringe powers on until March the 16th. Fenella, that looked like a lot of fun.
It was. I had to come back, however, and keep working. I would like to go back and just be there. It's like 24-hour art city at the moment in Adelaide. So, yeah, it was a lot of fun.
It's bursting at the seams with festivals Adelaide at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, you've got WOME Adelaide at the same time. There's Artists Week. Of course, there's the Adelaide Festival. So there's a lot going on. I think Adelaide manages to fit quite a lot in a period between February and March. So
it's all very grassroots, isn't it?
It is very grassroots. But at the same time, you know, of course, people who might go into the mainstream festivals will always be in the Fringe as well, because they might have a new show that they need to try out. So it's for everybody, really. And Lawrence Leung, who we saw in the story, he's going to be doing his show in the Opera House. So after the Adelaide Fringe, he's off to the Opera House in April, and I hear there are big things in store for him this year in 2008. So, yes.
That's on the QT, is it?
Yes, quiet. Keep it quiet, for sure.
We won't keep quiet what's happening next week. Dan Sultan, I believe.
Exactly. I have a chat to Dan Sultan. He's going to be performing on the show. He's a fantastic blues, rock, fantastic hips, you name it. The guy moves
Being
like no one's
compared
business.
to
Elvis.
the King.
Yeah. You got to watch this next week. He's amazing.
Can't wait for it. Thanks, Fenella.
Thank you.